P, E, C, F, D.
Great job, Eric. Can you read the line below that?
E, D, F, C, Z, P. You know, chances are most of us have probably had our eyes tested before. And no matter if the experience was enjoyable or not, one thing's for sure, corrected vision helps us see the world more clearly. This equipment tests our vision.
Excellent. Lens choice number 3.
Each of these lenses has a slightly different focus, and only a doctor knows how it all works. But our participation is necessary for this test to truly be effective. We can't be passive. We need to make choices, selecting between various options to bring things into focus. And finally, when we get our prescription, we get to pick out our frames. We want our frames to match our lifestyle and our personality. Have you ever tried on someone else's frames? I'm sure if you have, they felt awkward and uncomfortable. We get the same feelings when we serve God in ways that don't match our personality. That's why we need to take the time to discover how God has wired us. It's the key to finding and fulfilling our unique purpose in life. The bottom line is this: we need to serve God in ways that match the way He's uniquely wired us.
It's obvious that God doesn't use a cookie cutter to create His people. He loves variety. Just look around. There are no wrong or right temperaments. God wants to use them all. But God doesn't measure people the way most of us do. The Bible tells us that the Lord does not look at the things that man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. While the world places value on externals like prestige, position, and wealth, God places the highest value on less visible aspects of our lives. Just as the Lord gave you your unique spiritual gifts, passions, and abilities, your personality is also a gift. He created it and gave it to you to use for His glory. Webster defines personality as the complex of characteristics that distinguishes an individual. These characteristics affect the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. They influence your entire life, from decision-making to dealing with change, from solving problems to resolving conflict, from engaging people to expressing your feelings, from competing to cooperating. Your personality takes center stage in all areas of your life. To help explain the difference in human personalities, experts have created different systems of categorizing personality traits. Gary Smalley and John Trent, for example, use animal names such as beaver, otter, retriever, and lion to explain how the traits of these creatures reflect our human personalities. In his book, The Purpose-Driven Life, Rick Warren utilizes 4 traditional temperament styles: sanguine, choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic, to talk about personality. Clearly, there's more than one way to identify and categorize the different personalities we've been given. The one constant is this indisputable truth: God has instilled a unique personality in each of our lives. And understanding and embracing yours will help you more effectively express your spiritual gifts, heart, and abilities for His glory. I want to get very practical here so you can begin to embrace who God has wired you to be. As we move towards that goal, let's focus on the following 2 broad areas: how you relate to others and how you respond to opportunities. Your kingdom purpose is all about people, so it's important to discover how you relate to those around you. And because you'll encounter many serving opportunities through your life, understanding how you react to various situations will help you make the best choices. Let's look first at how you relate to others. A great way to determine this is to visualize walking into a room full of complete strangers. Some of you see this as an opportunity to meet and mingle with new people, while others will look for a place to hide. Neither impulse is better than the other. They are just 2 different ways people may respond to the same situation. During the course of my ministry, I've noticed that people's responses tend to fall into a few categories. Let's check out these as clues to determine your relationship style and how it may align with God's desires for you. First, would you say you're more outgoing or reserved? If you prefer interacting with many people and tend to gain energy from being around them, then God may have wired you to be more outgoing. On the other hand, if you prefer interacting with just a few people at a time and find energy renewed through quiet, reflective times, then your nature may be more reserved. Personally, I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to be around people and enjoy their company, but I'm more energized by being alone for times of reflection and solitude with God. What about you? Which of these statements best describe the way God created you? Do you tend to look for ways to be part of a group? Or do you desire to build deep relationships with just a few individuals? Do you tend to start conversations with people you don't know? Or possibly hesitate to be part of a large group? Like me, you may find yourself near the middle, which is totally fine. Whatever your tendencies are, that's the way God wired you to be. Next, are you more self-expressive or self-controlled? If you tend to be more open and verbal with your thoughts and opinions and enjoy sharing them with others, you'd be considered self-expressive. By contrast, if you tend to keep your thoughts and opinions to yourself, you may be described as self-controlled. My buddy Jeff is usually very outgoing, but when it comes to sharing his life with people, he's self-controlled. Before he will show his emotions to others, Jeff must build a deep level of trust with that person. I have another friend, however, who seldom hesitates to tell you how he is feeling, even if he just met you. He has no problem expressing his feelings and thoughts to many people as long as they're willing to listen. Let's move on. Are you more cooperative or competitive? Do you commonly accept the opinion of others without disagreement? Is it your aim in life to resist conflict as much as possible, attempting to live peacefully with others at all times? If so, you're likely to be more cooperative in relating to others. However, if you enjoy winning and overcoming obstacles is something that you greatly enjoy, you'd be considered more competitive by nature. We all know people who don't have a competitive bone in their bodies and others who have the competitive intensity of a professional athlete. What about you? Do you tend to focus on making sure people are okay when you're around them? Or do you tend to find importance in achievements? Would those that know you best say you tend to embrace conflict and enjoy winning? Or do you tend to look for ways to make others feel content? As you reflect on how you relate to others, give yourself permission to be who God wired you to be. That way, everyone around you benefits. There is nothing unusual about being a combination of different personality tendencies. God is not limited to working within some psychologist's list of traits. In fact, He wants us to avoid being pigeonholed or labeled by others or by ourselves. I'd encourage you to use your discussion time as a way to further define your unique personality. We've covered just a few of the possibilities. Now let's look at the second area I mentioned earlier, how you respond to serving opportunities. If you had the opportunity to choose the ideal setting that would enable you to make the greatest difference for God, what would it look like? You may find it helpful to think back over the past year or so of your life and survey opportunities that brought you the greatest fulfillment and yielded the best results. Like a farmer surveying his fall harvest, which opportunities produced the most fruit in your life? Let's take a look at a few categories, each designed to help you understand the way you react when God brings an opportunity to you. First, are you high risk or low risk? Some of us seek out situations that involve risk, while others avoid risk at all costs. Do you naturally gravitate towards serving opportunities that involve a few risks with little change, or does your heart race over those that come with a high level of risk attached? Next, would you say you are more people-driven or project-driven? My friend Dawn loves people, all people. She signs up for any opportunity that involves people. While Dawn is efficient in completing projects, she tends to be more people-oriented than process or project-oriented. What about you? Do you get excited about opportunities that involve people, or do you prefer situations that require behind-the-scenes work on projects that impact people? Now let's consider whether you're more wired to follow or to lead. The personalities of Jesus' 12 closest disciples certainly reflects variety. There was the hard-nosed tax collector, and there was a couple political activists. There was Andrew, a behind-the-scenes sort, and his brother Simon, a take-charge kind of guy. You may be willing to follow the leadership of others like Andrew, or perhaps you flourish when you're the one leading. Again, there are no right or wrong temperaments. It's simply a matter of understanding how God created you. Let's consider a few statements about your life. Do you often find yourself in positions of leadership? Or do you feel more comfortable following someone else's? Do you tend to look for ways to impact others with your life, or do you tend to receive fulfillment by helping others find success? Again, you may find yourself kind of in the middle, which is totally okay. If so, just indicate it in your study guide. Would the best environment for you be working with a team or working solo? Some people naturally gravitate towards opportunities that include working with a team, while others feel they can make a stronger impact by working alone or with a small number of people. Do you feel that being part of a team is important for a successful outcome? Or do you believe that you can make a greater impact on your own? The last area to consider when trying to figure out how you respond to serving opportunities is to determine whether you're more routine or variety. If you prefer activities that clearly define what is expected of you and completion of the activity is within reach, you probably tend to be more routine in nature. If, on the other hand, you enjoy involvement with many projects, that's a good indication that variety may be part of your unique kingdom purpose. Again, you may find yourself somewhere in the middle. The key is just to determine how you best relate to others and respond to serving opportunities. During your discussion time, make sure that everyone has an opportunity to talk about their unique personality styles, and then collectively, think of a few ways to start expressing your personality in ministry this next week. Have a great discussion.